Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Professor The Samp. Happy Monday morning to all you guys out there. If you're commuting, if you're sitting at home with your cup of coffee, whatever the case may be, if you were looking for us last week, we apologize. The professor, I think, had a little too much turkey and a little too much pie. It was Thanksgiving in the States, Black Friday. Welcome back, Professor. How are you, man? Is the comatose over?
Oh yes, yes. It's hard around this time anyway. I just want to hibernate. I have to fight those urges. So
Hey, I appreciate that, man. And we were talking off the air here before we started, and I said, just sometimes you don't realize what you need, and sometimes just recording is all you need.
oh yes,
And
yes.
pardon me. But from that perspective, yeah, man. Here we are. So we missed a week, and in that week, we missed Survivor Series. So why don't
And
we just start there?
that sounds good. And let me say this. Um, no disrespect. I definitely have to start this week by saying no disrespect to all of the men and women who do a tremendous job in both all companies, but I I knew that Tony Khan had played the smart chess move by putting blood and guts a few weeks before Survivor Series.
And that was going to be my first question to you because listen, we don't need to go into the details or the story or how things played out because it's everyone's already talked about.
Right.
Nothing you and I are going to say here this Monday morning is going to be any different from what anyone else said. But you already answered the question before I could even ask you. Did you see Survivor Series War Games being a better product or viewing than Blood and Guts? And you already answered it.
And for two reasons. One, WWE has put this event on consistently and it's gotten watered down. Not necessarily their fault. It's just if you're gonna have a blow off match, this is there are certain matches that are blow off matches. I look at Hell in the Cell, War Games. Those are blow off matches with you're gonna end those feuds and you're gonna go to a whole different way. Now, the second reason why I I just it bugs the world out of me because WWE's version of the war games is not the traditional war games. You do not have a top on the cage. And generally I try to put aside that, not hold it against them for that. But this year it shows emphatically why you need a top on it. For them to have outside interference bugged me so bad in my soul. My inner Dusty Rose can't, it comes out, baby. This is not what I had envisioned, baby. This ain't the way, baby. So,
Well, Bear, I hear everything you're saying, and even on our other sister show, Samp and Chance, it, I hate when I can't argue back because I know there's nothing I can say. Okay. When I look at Blood and Guts and I look at this Survivor Series, War Games, I almost feel it's better served if they leave it at NXT now. Because I feel everyone at NXT is like double NCA still down there. Okay. They're willing to go as far as they have to go to get to that main roster and then be disappointed. Right?
right?
I know. I just throwing it out there. I don't mean it in a bad way. The benefit that AEW had was they could show color. And I say that because it's evident from my own personal view. You put a little color in it, it changes the dynamic of what you're watching. Now, were the quality of the matches better on one side and the other? Maybe, maybe not. But because of that color, and it looked like the girls and the men on AEW were working harder to sell the match than the boys and the girls in WWE. Now, I'm a huge fan of Io Sky, and it was hard to argue the fact that how many times are we going to see Io keep jumping off the cage? How many times is that spot going to be relevant to the point where she has her own garbage can now? So we know it's coming. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it, I get it and I love it. And I still say that the girls' match was still better than the men's match because just
100%.
based on the men participating on either side, the heel side had no business not winning this match. And if they did, then it just didn't make sense, even if it was a work or not. There's just some works that just don't look right. And that would have been the case. Now, throwing a guy into the cage just made the match look even worse, in my opinion, because you didn't need the mask man. He served no purpose, really. And the worst part of it is, we're 2 weeks now into it, and we still don't know who this guy is. You're wasting the opportunity of that all now.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here.
Please do, please do.
Now, I didn't like the Masked Man, but it sets intrigue for the coming month because now that we know that Braun Breaker is going to take on Punk, we are going to, well, I'm going to assume that the Masked Man is going to show up again. I don't know exactly where, but he's going to show up. I'm thinking possibly the first Raw in the new year.
And I appreciate that, but I think it's too far away and it's going to lose its luster. We've already seen this happen with a few storylines this year. They dropped the ball on the John Cena thing. That's still on everyone's lips and in their mouth and on their tip of their tongue. I don't know if people can wait that long. We're going into the holiday season. If they were going to do this, then they should have done this January 1st when Punk and Braun fought and have him interfere there.
Right. And I don't disagree with you, but this is the formula of Triple H.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or wrong, he's a he's a story driven excitement guy. He wants a pop somewhere.
No, and I
And
get that.
again,
Yeah.
I understand, I guess, where, and I understand the whole thing with the war games because you lost Seth. Now you want to make people think it possibly could be Seth. Everybody knows Jericho will be back in WWE, so it could be Jericho.
Okay, let's talk
The
about that.
rumor
Let's talk
of
about that.
the rumor of Austin Theory is there. So now you got three people it could be. Now, I was gonna say, now most people, these three, now we're forgetting someone that they re-signed that's sitting, we hadn't heard nothing from that could be a curveball that nobody expected.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna change my 4 to a 5 then because I'm not sure who you're talking about, brother. You got me intrigued now. But before we get there, let's just show how discombobulated this War Games was. Seth Rollins getting hurt and Jacob Fatu getting hurt changed the dynamic of that War Games completely. If Jacob wasn't hurt, then Austin Theory was going to be in it.
Yes.
That was the plan. But Jacob getting out to fix his teeth which is what it was. It wasn't an injury. It was a personal thing that he went to do. He should be back in the next week or so,
Right.
ready to go. But Jacob not being in there, Seth not being in there, changed the dynamic of everything. Logan Paul was set to be there. That was already there. But this was this is where Austin Theory was supposed to come and return. But they didn't do it, and they put Drew in that spot anyways. So that's how that happened. But back to your guy. Who is your guy? Because I was thinking of someone else completely different. Now, are you thinking
Uh,
Santos Escobar?
exactly.
Okay, because that's the only guy I could think of that that
That
they
he
signed, and he's sitting.
exactly. That's who I was thinking. And this would give him an immediate push, and it will give him something better to do than, no disrespect to the Garzas, but oh,
I think
was
he comes back
that
with
garbage.
something stronger. I think he almost comes back, and I can see that completely. Okay, first off, I don't think it's Jericho. I don't think it's Orton, and I do believe it was Austin Theory that did climb the cage. I do believe it
He
was Austin
did.
Theory who did that because you just look at the man's back.
Yep.
The back was there. The way he went up that cage, Orton can't move that fast. Jericho cannot move that fast.
But the key is, it doesn't matter who actually climbed the cage, it's who they put in the
I get it.
mask when it comes
No, no,
off.
no. I get it. I get it. But this is just my analytical mind working at all the angles and all the
Of course.
basic. But here's the name that I'm going to throw out. And you might have seen it in our chat group or not. But I think there's one guy who would benefit even more than anyone else that we've talked about.
Who
And
is
that's
that?
Montavious Ford.
Yes, I did see that. I did see
Now, if
that.
there's a man who they're trying to look for an opportunity to push on a singles level, because where are the Street Profits? Once again, they've disappeared, right? They're not
Yep.
to be seen anywhere. So, from that perspective, why not throw him in there? He's a natural heel.
And on top of that,
And I hate to say it, throw some color in the group, guys.
and on top of that, they did have that Montel tease. Well, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I
So
think he would be a perfect fit. The guy can fly. He can do everything that that group needs right now. I think the toss up is him in Theory. And because everyone thinks it's Theory, that probably screwed his chances up. Now they don't want to do it. Maybe this is why they're holding off on it. But Montavious Ford, in my opinion, outside of Austin Theory, is probably the most logical choice. Jericho comes back, he's not coming back to the Rumble. He can't even be on TV if he wanted to be right now.
right.
Right?
And that's, and funny enough that the first Raw, it'll be 3 days after his contract ends.
Yeah, but you hold him till the Rumble. And Jericho comes
But-
back for retirement tour. He's not there's not much he can do here.
Well, and he doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it. This is his final thing. Maybe you could put him in the Hall of Fame this year.
Yes.
He'll
Again,
he'll be there for that.
we've talked about this so much, of building up younger talent. So again, I agree with you 100%. I think whatever they do, if it's a younger talent, I'm going to be okay with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it has to be a younger talent, right? And so Barry, I want to touch on this one really quickly. When we came back to Monday Night Raw, they always had the graphic package for all the matches. The Stephanie McCure match was missing from the package. Any thoughts on that? Was the match that bad?
I, this is going to sound
Or is
terrible.
Stephanie so good that there's no one really up there to compete with her right now? Outside of
It's
maybe Liv now.
it's not that it's no one there that can compete with her. It's no one that they've given any substance to feud with her.
And
The
the
reason
returning Liv Morgan, I think, gives that substance.
exactly, but that's the problem that they run into so much, is, hey, we don't have enough people to do things with, especially in the women's division. If
Right.
it wasn't, look at how strong the tag division is now.
Oh,
And you know why? Because they've taken all these singles wrestlers, put them together. Okay, that's fine, great. No, I have no issue with that. The issue is you still have people that are sitting on the sidelines that you do not give any credible build to, and you throw them in these spaces, and no one cares. And it's not their fault, it's the fault of creative not being able, they act like they can't do more than four things at one time.
well, look, and this is a reoccurring theme, and not to be a downer on a Monday morning, but the issue seems to be creative, creative, creative. If it's not creative, it's Triple H. If it's not Triple H, it's Road Dogg. And it's just like I get it, but at the same time, just they got to figure this out. And I think it's creative across the board, not just WWE, AEW as well to a certain extent. I mean, it's just I don't know, dude. Like, what can we do? Like, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it always comes down to creative.
Well, uh, my I've heard, I can't remember, you may have said this, and maybe that I've heard it from somewhere else. I know I heard it somewhere else, but they need creative for each division because the women are a perfect example. You have, and I beat up on SmackDown so much because to me it's the biggest blur. Well, no, I take that back. It's both brands. You have Jade Cargill, the world champion. Who is her number one contender?
Well, see, she's just rolling through everybody, and I think they're building her up to be that kind of dominant force right now. Because what I think we're going to see, the inevitable feud here is her and Bianca.
Right.
Okay, we
But
haven't seen much of Bianca. So what they're doing, in my opinion, I know I don't mean to cut you off, Bear. What I think they're doing here with Jade is building her up to be this powerhouse because she's walking through everybody.
but who's everybody? That's my
The whole
point.
mid card.
Name the mid card.
No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, B Fab. Okay, she's
That
running through B Fab. Now she's gonna run through Michin. And
okay.
she did the Secret Service this past Friday.
Okay. Let me stop you there.
Okay, okay.
You said B-Fab, Me Chin, and the Secret Harvest.
Yeah.
Okay. With the Secret Harvest, Chelsea Green is the US champion, right? Why in the world is she messing around with the world champion? She should have a contender for her because she's a champion. She should have someone she should be feuding with,
Yeah, I get
correct?
that. I get that completely.
Okay. Now, B-Fab and Me Chin, what have either one of them done any this year?
Nothing, nothing.
Right. Now, with that being said, you got Nia Jax, and they brought up Lash
Lash
Legend.
Legend, yeah.
They're over the tag titles.
Yeah.
Now, you got Selena Vega. Selena Vega is teamed up with her husband,
Yeah.
so she's not doing anything in the women's division.
Well, she's gonna get her ass kicked next week.
But true, but that's nothing in the women's division to go for a championship. She
Okay,
hadn't
so
said
let me
nothing. She hadn't said anything about trying to get the US title or the world title. She hasn't wrestled in probably, I want to think, 4 months.
Selena Vega.
Yes, on
Yes,
on
yes,
the on TV.
yes, yes. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Now, that's a problem. If you keep, and then where's Tiffany Stratus? You
Injured?
hadn't seen you hadn't seen Tiffany since she lost. So now you got two titles
Yeah.
that no one's going through. And if we're making Jade the unstoppable force that she is, and she's whooping the US champion, which doesn't make sense. Can you tell me if Jade's a heel or a face?
Okay. Now, I've heard everything you've said, and I'm not going to disagree with any of it.
Right.
Selena Vega, in my opinion, is not in a place to contend for anything at the moment.
I,
That's why I cross her out. Okay.
no, I don't
Now,
disagree with you with
right
that.
now, what I said in the beginning here, Bear Professor, was that they're building her up for that inevitable return of Bianca Belair. Now, you can't do that with Nia. You can't do that with Charlotte. You can't do that with any of the big names that are on SmackDown. You can even do it with Julia right now. Conceivably, all those girls, even Lash, throw Lash in there. They would beat her up. They would not make her look as strong as they need her to look to bring back Bianca. So, what I believe they're doing, and I understand what you're saying completely, but beating up on the Secret Hervis, Chelsea Green doing what she's doing is to keep her strong because Chelsea would not stand a chance against a Jade Cargill. That would destroy her momentum in AAA with the Ethan Page stuff that she's doing and whatnot. If you want to throw someone in there, maybe a Julia to play with for a little bit to kind of challenge her a little bit if you want to, but Charlotte would destroy her by all accounts, should destroy her, or at least make her look weaker than she does, even if Jade comes out of it. So they want to keep this woman super strong. And the only way they can do it is by her interrupting up people's interviews like she has been. So Jade's going around looking for all these issues. No one's going to her. She's coming out in other people's matches to prove her dominance, to show how strong she is. They're trying to build her up as this wow, look at her. Look how strong she is. No one can touch this woman. So you have to divert the attention away from all the other people that you know can beat her up. This is what am I thinking,
No, I understand.
right? That's why I think they're booking her the way they're booking her to keep her strong. Because by all accounts, she'll be completely exposed if she goes up against a Charlotte, a Bailey, a Becky, you name it. So this is what they're doing for the benefit of Bianca, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is the way I'm seeing it played out.
And the only, well, the two things that I will come back with is one, now this could be just out there because um they don't want people to know when she's coming back. But I've heard that she is going to have surgery again.
Oh my goodness. See, dude, and I don't care what anybody says. You break a finger, it's a lot more damaging than you can imagine. Like, okay, I play rugby, or I used to play rugby, but at this time I was coaching my school team, and I was running a drill to show these guys what to do in a ruck or whatever, and I slipped and I fell, and this thumb right here was like this. Like when I got up and stood up, I can't even bend it that way. It was like
Mm.
this. This is what my finger looked like. And because I'm around kids, I didn't want to look weak, so I just and put it back up. All right. The next morning, I was on a flight to London, England. So I was in emergency. They told me it was broken, but there was nothing they could do with it. So they put a brace on it, one of those kind of finger things.
Right.
For 6 months, man, I came back from London and I had to go for surgery to fix it. They had to put pins in my finger. And that's my pinky. She broke 3 fingers, man. It can be detrimental, like, so, but I mean, yeah.
No, and you are definitely right. Now, the second thing is You are putting your entire division to make one person look strong in the caveat to have one big match. Now, it's not that it hadn't been done before. I mean, Brock Lesnar can be your first example of running through a division. Your Stone Cold, you can name it. But the problem that I find with that in the women's division is you do not have enough women in your division to circumvent that, making the one strong. You keep, like you said, you keep Charlotte away from her. You keep Nia away from her. You keeping uh Charlotte's tag team partner
Alexa.
away from her. Thank you. So you're keeping these people away from them. Then you take in Chelsea Green, who's all over the place. So her losing is nothing because this is her character. It fits right into her character. You taking her secret harvest there doesn't make a difference with her. That I get, but
But we
you're
also have to look at the program she's on too, Bear.
right. No. I don't disagree with you on that. But I'm saying though, now with that, you've taken the US championship that you just made almost last year at this time completely worthless because who's going for that title? Well,
Well, all the girls
not
that Jade's beating up should be contending for that title.
that's my point. Then you got Tiffany, which she's already beat Tiffany, so they could bring her back and let her do another. Hey, let me get my title back moment, which 9 times out of 10, that's what I feel like they're going to do for the Royal Rumble, or not for. It may not be for the Royal Rumble, maybe just the new year, so it could keep the plate spinning
Yeah, no,
until.
I get it. What
So,
they need to do, in my opinion, is they need to put more emphasis on SmackDown itself.
well, this is not just a SmackDown problem. That's the thing. The same thing is happening over in Raw. The only difference is they they actually kind of treat the Intercontinental title like it's a little something,
Well,
just a
this is the
little.
problem. We got two world champions right now in the women's division. We're talking a lot about the women here, but this is good because I don't think, you know, they get a lot of the attention that they truly deserve. In fact, we could probably do a show just on them.
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay, so the way I look at it this way, you got Stephanie Vacure, who's a great champion. Okay, and she's proven a commodity. The return of Liv makes me excited now because now it seems like they have someone, and she's scary coming back. Let's talk about that for a quick second. Let's go off on a tangent. Liv returning at Survivor Series. Now, was that uh um a shot at John Cena the way they did it?
No,
You know what I
I
don't
think
think about? Watch how she came back
no.
and that
I
look.
agree with you 1,000. Yes, it was a purpose done to do the same thing, but it wasn't necessarily a shot at John. It
Yeah,
was just, hey, here's this funny rib
yeah,
that John did it, now it's getting done to him.
exactly. I mean, John, you were just a heel not a month ago, and you got that playful look on your face again when she slapped him. Like you're looking at John's face from behind when she slapped him. Just like, come on, John, don't you forget you were like a real mean guy a month ago?
Yes, he did.
Right? Right? It's kind of funny. It's funny. It's funny. But
Yeah,
look,
no, I
Liv
agree
coming
with
back.
you. It was hilarious. I
No,
enjoyed the spot and everything.
and I think that was probably the best thing of the show, in my opinion, was Liv returning.
I agree.
Right? And
Yes.
that's not saying much. I don't mean that in a bad way at all. But back to
No.
this, but the problem with SmackDown is this: they put all their eggs into Raw, and they've done this time and time again. If you're a new wrestling fan and you're experiencing this for the first time, from the time that SmackDown first emerged in 1998, I believe it was when it first came out, 97, 98, something like that.
Yes.
Okay, it's always being considered the B real. It's always being considered the B show until it went to Fox. And for that brief moment, we saw Raw look like complete crap because all the eggs were being put onto SmackDown. SmackDown was the show. SmackDown was the show you wanted to watch.
Well, and this, you're 100% right. It's the mentality that the company has put ever since they've had Raw and SmackDown. But SmackDown has always been the wrestlers' show. Anyone who actually likes wrestling always gravitated to SmackDown. No, and every time SmackDown gets that momentum, they snatch it away
Yeah,
to prove that Raw is number one. It's
yeah,
just, and it's their bad mentality.
yeah. And you know what, guys and gals? If you're complaining, oh, we need Vince back. Well, you know what? Vince was doing this too. Just saying. I'm just saying. Do we need a
No,
little bit of Vince McMahonism? Maybe not Vince himself, but some of the big Vince McMahonisms back,
yep.
right? Like, Chance is right. I hate to admit it, but the man is right when he says that there is no, um, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's no one to be afraid of anyone back there anymore, right? There's no philosophy that anyone's living off. Everyone's doing their own thing. Triple H is taking pictures with everybody. Triple H is patting everyone on the back, right? We need that guy back there who told Kevin Owens his match was shit. Because right now, that's what the WWE is lacking is the person who's going to tell you like it is.
I agree with you. And the problem is we're in a position now that the company doesn't care about the product. They care about the revenue.
Well, that's all it is, dude. If they cared about the product, we wouldn't have half our shows dedicated to what it's dedicated to.
Well, and another thing is I hear so much people talk about how Triple H can't book the main roster. Triple H can't do this. Triple H can't do this. Well, the one thing that people fail to realize is as much as we think Triple H is the guy, he has people to answer to.
And this is what I keep telling everybody. At the end of the day, Triple H can only do so much. Okay. Mike Tomlinson, my beloved Steelers, he can only write up the place. It takes Aaron Rodgers and the rest of that team to execute. Your Alabama team from this past weekend, the coach could have done everything he possibly could, but the team out there has to execute. And you know what?
Exactly.
And Triple H has to answer to Mark Shapiro. Triple H has to answer to
Nick Khan.
Ari, right? Nick Khan to a certain extent. I don't care what anybody says. Nick Khan has a bigger role in everything more than Triple H does.
Of course,
Okay?
anybody who does not think so, no, is not trying to insult you, but you're an idiot
Yeah.
because that means you don't know what the building is of WWE and the hierarchy. You don't know.
No, we don't. And a lot of what we say, guys and gals, is based on what we think we know. Until Professor and the Samp actually have a guy or girl in there who can tell us everything, we're just making our own assumptions. And everything seems to work out the way it's supposed to work out, anyways. But
Is
it's to get there. And you know what? And I get it. We have a lot of older talent. I get it. Punk can't move. Punk shouldn't be world champion. I understand that completely. Does Punk lose the title, in your opinion, in the beginning of January, or do we see this carry on till Mania? Because the early bookings indicate that we're getting a Brock, a Bronze, sorry, our Breaker versus Punk match, and we're looking at probably the trilogy of Roman versus Cody.
Yes.
That's the
Um,
only preliminary talks.
yes. Now, there is a couple of caveats. Where does Brock lie in that?
Brock will probably go with Gunther.
Now, the things that I've heard
Okay,
is this is Brock's last run.
probably is.
And so again, I understand the Gunther thing, especially on the path they got Gunther anyway. He's going to retire Goldberg. He's going to retire John Cena. He's going to be the new legend killer, basically.
Sure.
Okay. Now,
We would need one for this generation, right?
right, I don't necessarily have a problem with that
Yeah,
because I, Gunther is the man to me. He is the boss. I think they dropped the ball with him so much, but they're trying to course correct it.
yeah. And you know what I
Now,
like? I like the fact that Walter is coming out to his old music. Walter is wearing his old gown, robe, if you want to call it. I like it. I didn't like how he returned. He just returned out of nowhere. There was nothing there, in nothing
to
against
tease it,
Javon Evans, nothing against Carmelo Hayes. Definitely feature guys of the company, but it just looked really lackluster until he got into that ring with Solo. And then we saw Gunther, and it was kind of fun because we got two heels going against each other. So
yes,
the kick in the balls and his look like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Right? To win that match. I mean, it was a heelish thing, but it was almost like a face thing, right?
right.
Like, so it was kind of cool. Am I okay with Gunther and Cena? Sure, why not? Right? I mean, it makes sense. I can see it playing out, and I see that being the passing of the torch. Does John Cena tap out? Let's keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, John Cena has not tapped out in 21 years. The man's tapped out as a main roster, as a main guy. He's never tapped out. Okay. He tapped out to Jericho in the walls. He tapped out to Benoit. And he's tapped out to Kurt Angle. All before he became a main eventer.
Yep.
So if they're pushing this narrative, it looks like John Cena will probably tap out on the 13th here.
There's no argument with that. And at first, I was a little upset about it, but I think it's once I had a little chance to look at it more in depthly, I think yes, this is the best decision.
Like, Bert, we sit here and we debate, and this is what we do. We debate, we try to break it down, we work with the information that's given to us. So people understand what we're working with. Imagine a secret top level government document that's finally being released, but 80% of it has black marks all over it. So we're working with only maybe a 20% of what we actually know and when we're making all these calls, right?
Right.
So when I look at Gunther, I think this guy will become the face that runs the place. Him and Dominic are going to be your faces going into 26, in my opinion. It has to be, right? I can't see it any other way. We have too many bad guys running the asylum.
And and with that being said, I'm gonna jump to something that's happening this Saturday that's gonna bring a whole new face up. Cody Rhodes versus
Obi Femi.
Obi. Oh, he this is gonna be something special. Now, will he beat Cody? I doubt it. And he may. because this is not a title match.
No, it's not a title match. It's an opportunity
It-
match.
right. And so it wouldn't hurt for your world heavyweight champion you lose to your NXT champion.
You know
It
what? And they
it,
need to
it
do something.
go ahead.
I think they need to do something. They're gonna probably make Obi Femi very strong. But unfortunately, I think Drew's gonna interfere and mess it up.
Now that could be that would be logic dictating what general main roster thinking goes. But what if, just what if, he
Mm.
beats him cleanly?
And I'm hoping for that because I think we are now starting to see, and these are the little details that I pick on Bear. The comment that Cody made to Roman at the end of Survivor Series is leading me to believe we are now starting to finally see the change of character that we want Cody to become.
Exactly.
Because the only way Cody versus Roman's going to work if they're flipped.
And what would help facilitate that?
Losing cleanly
That you
to Cody.
lose cleanly to the NXT champion.
Absolutely. Now,
It does twofold.
yeah,
It straps a rocket on Oba
yeah.
because they're gonna want to get him up to NXT. I mean, out of NXT, and whenever he comes up, this for the casual fan that doesn't watch NXT, hey, that's the guy that beat the world heavyweight champion.
Hey, and you know what? Obi versus Brock. That's a
Him
potential
versus
there.
Gunther.
Or Gunther. Like I said, we have so much that we don't even know that's happening here yet, right? I mean, if we're talking
Exactly.
about a guy retiring everybody, maybe Gunther versus Jericho,
Exactly.
right?
That
So that writes itself too.
and look, Braun. We look Braun versus Obi.
We
That
we we have matchups, and you look at their history in NXT, right?
exactly.
Where did Braun hit a wall when he came to Obi, and then he
Yes.
came up, right? So there's so much potential here. There's so many things, so many different angles here. But Cody needs to turn heel, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Cody has to flip, and I think we're starting to see it because uncharacteristic moves by Cody are happening. This past Friday on SmackDown, what did Cody do? He attacked him in the car. Very un-Cody like,
Yes.
right?
He's
Cody's now using plunder to win matches. Very un-Cody like.
and it goes to help even Drew McIntyre because what did Drew say about Cody? He's
Yeah,
mentally weak.
yeah,
He's on the verge of breaking.
yeah.
So there's so much there.
Well, there's so much there, and we saw all that this happened this past weekend, man. Over the course of the week, but yeah, Bear. Listen, that was Survivor Series. We've seen what's happened on Raw. We saw what's kind of played out on SmackDown. So I think we've really covered a lot of that already here for
Yes.
this last couple of weeks. So I think we're good there. Um, anything catch your eye on Dynamite Collision this past week that you want to bring up?
Um the Eddie
Just to be fair,
Kingston the Eddie Kingston promo.
or Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston does not get the love he deserves because that was such a brilliant, quick. It wasn't a long
Winded.
promo. It was quick, simple, to the point.
Yeah,
And Eddie has this kinship with his fans because I am an Eddie Kingston fan.
sure.
I'm a Samoa Joe fan.
Yeah,
And I know both men have respect for each other. Will Eddie win? No. But it sets up such a great match coming up this Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. There, I think also the women's tag team division for the titles. I thought the the women coming up with the stipulations was dumb.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
Yeah.
The match was funny.
Yeah.
It was unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
I think that them letting Tony Storm and
Mina.
her partner
Mina.
win was the wrong call.
Yes and no, because more name recognition goes with Mina and Tony Storm right now. And if you're trying to elevate the titles, you probably want it with those two over the ventriloquist. And I can't remember her partner's name. Uh
Willow
Willow Nightingale and Harley
Cameron.
Cameron. God bless them. I love them. I think they're amazing. But very like what they did with the big title, put it on a big name first, try to give it some recognition, and then you can flip it. Tony Storm's a huge name.
Here's the kicker of it.
Sure.
And this is just the way I look at it.
Yeah.
You do not need, or in my opinion, do you want Tony Storm concentrating on tag team matches?
Right now, yes, because she's been in the title picture for so long.
Yeah, well, here's the kick about it. To me,
Okay.
they set up such a great run excuse of why she shouldn't be in the title match.
Yeah.
She can go after the Sisters of Sin. She
Yeah.
can go after Spider Lady, their tag partner.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah. Yeah. Tikala or Tikala.
Tekla,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
She can go after Shafir. She
Yeah.
can go after Megan Bain.
Yeah.
It keeps her out of the title picture.
Yeah.
It lets the other women in the division be able to build their name up.
Sure.
I would rather Willow and
Harley Cameron.
Harley win the tag titles because they're more of a tag team than, because let's just be real. Tony doesn't need a title.
No.
Nina doesn't need a AEW title.
My
She
my only problem with Tony Storm and Mina Sakara is Mina's wearing the same kind of gear as Tony Storm, and I don't like it.
it's gonna be over. Don't worry. And this speaks to something that I just talked about about in WWE. You have the and let's be real. Once AEW's women division, they've dogged it for years, and rightly so. But now their division is stacked.
Yeah.
Their division has so many different talents that you don't have to rely on one
No, that's true. That's true.
or two or
That's true.
three. You
Yeah.
have so many different people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna go to something that happened Friday night that a
Yeah.
lot of people ain't gonna talk about, that probably may not know or care about. But Monet lost the ROH
Yeah.
television
Yeah.
title,
Yeah. Yeah.
and where everybody's been crying, oh, they don't do anything. She always wins. It gives Red Velvet credibility over now. It makes
No,
her
for sure.
over for getting the pin.
No, absolutely. Now the problem with that is no one watches Ring of Honor.
Well, but here's the thing. But here's the thing. Not a lot of people watch Ring of Honor, but they see the meltdown on Collision. She melted down.
Okay, so
She,
why is all the good shit happening on Collision, the show that no one watches? most of the best segments that come out of AEW, the most watched shorts that come out of AEW happen on the show that nobody watches. Why?
That, because they want you to watch.
But no
That's
one
why.
is. Even
But
when they
that
do it.
but that's the point. That's the point, though. The reason they do it's just like SmackDown and Raw,
Yeah,
honestly, because if you keep putting everything on your A show, why the hell would you watch the B show?
I get it. But then when people tune into the B show for 2, 3 weeks, nothing happens and say, fuck it, pardon my language, I can't watch this.
That
And then
that
the minute they turn it off, some cool shit happens.
that's the point. If you that's the point. If
I
you don't pay
know,
attention,
but then
if
why
you
would I
don't
come
pay
back for
attention,
another? Why would I come back for another 3 weeks of nothing?
but it's not always nothing.
I
It's
know.
like and like you said, it's the little things. The little things.
Yeah,
Monet flipping out, beating
yeah,
uh oh, I can't think of her name. Uh from Skyflight, and
right.
then kicking the Chris Daniels in the balls,
Yeah,
and then after that she went grabbed Tony Schiavone's head, said a smart thing,
yeah.
threw it. That's character work, and
No, I get it.
and that's what it is. Now, I would say too, right now is the good time. You should be watching both Dynamite and Collision
Okay.
because of the C2 tournament.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
That is big. Whether you like AEW or not, the C2 tournament was another brilliant move from Tony Khan because each show has great matches.
Mm.
And you are having wins against people that you would never think would win.
Yeah. You know,
Col-
and that transitions into something here. John Moxley's now lost 6 in a row, including this past collision against did he fought he lost to Claudio,
yeah,
which is interesting. And
which is
then
good. And the reason I say it's good, you could not have John Moxley go over the IWGP champion,
no, I get that, but that's 6 in a row.
and that's good
And he
because
lost to Claudio.
and again, character work.
I get
Let
that. But where does this leave Daniel Bryan?
he
Well,
that
no, no,
leaves
no.
him
Here, let me give you my scenario here. This is where I'm looking at it, okay? We got
okay,
Daniel Bryan sitting on commentary now. We know he can still go. We know he can still move because he did some stuff earlier on.
right?
So we know Moxley's out. He's on the verge of being kicked out because now Claudio beat him. Okay.
Exactly.
Daniel said at the end of that show, the reason we all looked up to this man as our leader is because I couldn't beat him. Nobody could beat him. So Claudio now is beating him. Does this now make Daniel Bryan come back as the leader and somehow swerve everyone? Or when they start to beat him down on Dynamite, will Daniel Bryan be the guy to save him?
So I think no to both.
Okay.
One, Claudio clearly is going to be the leader. Even before he won the CMLL title,
Yeah.
I already knew Claudio had that look. He's like, no. Two, Brian will come back, but it's going to have to be a real special match. And three, John is finally going to get his vacation that he
Right?
should have
What we've
had
been talking
two
about.
years ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious to see how they're going to play this out because, I mean, to be honest, I don't think Claudio Cesaro will make the Death Riders any better. If anything, they'll probably even go down deeper in obscurity.
That's that's what I there's something about Claudio for me that's been now he's been underrated for quite a while. Claudio has something that I don't think a lot of people get a chance to see. And to put him in a leader role, to be able to talk and to be the head guy, I think is going to do him so much good that I'm looking forward to it.
Well, look, hey, so am I, but I'm also looking at the history of this man, and we've been watching him for the better part of 15 years now. And he's never stepped up yet. He hasn't had, maybe this is his opportunity to step up. We'll see. But at this moment in time, I think the greatest thing that he could have worked off of and built his name up was the size of his nipples. Remember when Cena was making fun of him with all that stuff back in the day?
Right, right.
In my opinion, that should have been the point where he could have built off of something.
Or if I'm gonna play devil's advocate with you, he should have been able to build up against Roman, which they did not give him sufficient time.
Well, no, and even when he was with the bar, I think his best work was with the bar. The most personality we saw from the man was with the bar. In the Death Riders, he's just being the strong man. He's being Little John to John Moxley's Robin Hood for
And
the
see,
most part.
and I guess that's where I see he has more depth, and I think we're gonna get a chance to see that. I hope. And
Yeah.
again, look, maybe Vince was right that he has no personality. Maybe he can never be that guy. But if you don't give people opportunities to show what they can do, how do we ever know? And
Well, I
he and I feel like he deserves a chance to sink or swim.
yeah, and I get that completely, and AEW is a place to do it. But like I said, I mean, if you look at people who have left the company who don't have the personality, and how can you doubt Vince McMahon when he says something about someone? Because for 99% of the time, the man's right. Hate him or love him, the man reads people. He knows characters.
I I disagree with that.
Okay.
And the reason I say that because Vince, now I'd be a fool to say Vince doesn't know characters, but Vince doesn't always know every character because he's had some where he's dropped the ball with. A prime example of that, and I know this is years back. You had the two biggest names in wrestling history. And he like, well, this won't sell at WrestleMania, so we're not gonna do it.
Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair.
Exactly.
That was ego. That was nothing to do with character. That was just Vince's ego.
But that's my point too. His ego has crushed so many people.
No, hey, I get that completely. No, look. I'm not
And
painting. I'm not painting. A feather brush over this guy.
no, I know you're not. But my point to with that being said
Yeah, yeah,
is just because he knows, and hell, I would even say 60%.
yeah,
He doesn't know the 40, and that look at Swerve Strickland.
yeah,
And I know Vince was about gone really when Swerve they fired Swerve
yeah.
and all that. But look at what Swerve is today.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Tony Storm and where she is today.
Yeah,
They WWE both had both of them,
sure.
and look at where they are today. And
And
we and I think it's a fair thing to say that if it wasn't for AEW, they wouldn't be where they are.
yeah,
So there's no one always knows every character, every best for people. There are like, look, there's an argument to say with Monet. More people will say no, she was better at Sasha Banks than Monet. I think that she's shown it wasn't just WWE. This has been in me. They let me get only so far, and capped me. I had to leave to get everything. Now, it took me a minute because I'm used to people writing for me. Now I had to do it myself. I have to finally do it. I'm finally getting comfortable. Just like hell, the most undisputed woman in wrestling for the last 3 years. I will argue this against Rhea. I will argue against Tony Storm. I will argue against Charlotte Flair. Bianca is Athena. WWE had her.
Yeah,
Look at the character work.
yeah,
Look at what she's doing. And she's stuck on Ring of Honor. Like you said, a lot of people don't even know what the hell Ring of Honor is,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they've heard of her. They've seen the character work. So, my point is, as great as Vince was at seeing good characters, let's not forget he's came out with the Bastion Boogers, the the Red Rooster.
Yeah,
Oh, the Kerwin Whites. You remember
yeah.
Kerwin White?
Shit. How about Mordecai?
Exactly. So I guess my
I get
whole
it. I
point
get
to
that.
that little round
I think
was
in the case of Swerve and to the case of Tony Storm, I can say the same about Cody and Drew as well, and even Jinder to a certain extent. These
true.
are guys that left the company, figured it out, and then came back. Sometimes you got to go out on your own to become what you're supposed to be in the long run, right? And
Correct.
and in the case of Swerve, yeah, he's doing everything that he possibly can. He'll come home one day, right? He will be back. They usually do come back.
So I will say this, because they come back, does it make them better?
In most cases, short term, yes, but not everyone can pull it off like a Cody and a Drew did.
Because the first, I think you know the first person I'm thinking of. Poor fucking Rusev.
Look, this guy, one can argue he did it to himself because he didn't come back with anything different, right?
Okay,
Like, he came back basically as Rusev. Like, well, what am I supposed to buy into it? Now, at
okay.
least with Aleister Black, there's a little bit of mystique there. Okay, they're not, and if you were going to, then you should have put Rusev on SmackDown. You shouldn't have put him on the main show.
Aleister Black came back as Aleister Black. He's no different
He
than when he
came
left.
back as Aleister Black, but he brought Zelina Vega back on with him, which makes me think that they are the replacement for Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
How long did it take for them to do that, though?
I don't know, dude. This is the problem we keep facing, right? Like, this is creative. We're right back to where we started. We're right back to where we started, man. But the worst part is, you and I are still going to tune in and watch every week.
That's
Are
what
we,
we do.
well, are we glutton for punishment then? Are we asking to get, please, sir, can I have some more? Like,
Just because we're wrestling fans.
I get it. I get it.
It goes to what Tevin has always said ever since I've met Tevin. Tevin always said, we just set ourselves up for disaster. Why do we think things are going to change? Because we hold off that little hope that they'll learn and grow from it.
Well, you know what? I don't think we'll ever learn because we're still going to be coming back again and again and again and again and again. So, accept it for what it is, man. But headlines, is there anything that stood out for you from the past week that kind of made you think? Something that stood out for me, ESPN is not happy with the WWE deal at all. They're not making any money off of it. They're not doing anything with it. And it doesn't help that the shows that they started with weren't even in the country. We're in a different time zone. Survivor Series, they got their numbers that they were looking for, but ESPN's not happy.
Well, I would tell ESPN
At
that,
this point, they just want to make their money back. That's all they want. They want to break
well, it's
even.
going to take time. You go from that, and no disrespect to wrestling, because we wrestling, love wrestling, will argue to the end of the earth for wrestling, but wrestling is not a sport.
No, it's not. But here's the
And
problem. This is what
hold,
scares me.
yeah, but let me finish it. Wrestling is not a sport, not a physical,
Entertainment.
non-dictated sport.
Yeah.
It takes time, because yes, you are going to get the fans like us who will go wherever it is to watch, but you have to keep it in a decent price range, especially in today's time and market with everything going on in the world.
Hmm.
Everybody just don't have an extra 40, $50 to blow on a pay-per-view.
No, that's true.
Now, you have the casual sports fan who thinks wrestling is fake. You have to get something to generate their interest to want to turn in to watch it. Even if you already have ESPN, you're getting wrestling for free. If you never were a wrestling fan, 9 times out of 10, it's hard to get you to follow that. So it's going to take time. ESPN, if they thought they were just going to immediately do fist over dollars and just rake it all in, they were the fools.
Yeah.
That's my opinion of them. Should they be happy? No, but give it after WrestleMania and see where they stand then.
Well, things are going to get interesting. Here's another headline: WWE calling up several NXT wrestlers next month. And some of
Fresh
the names
faces.
here. Yeah, and some of the names here. So we've seen Stephanie, we've seen Julia and Roxanne all join the main roster earlier this year. They all seem to be doing okay. I think the worst off of it all is Julia, probably,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Which is surprising. Which is surprising.
Uh,
Um, but now I'm hearing that we're gonna see Trick, we're gonna see Obi Femi, which we're seeing on Saturday Night Live. Tony D'Angelo, who returned this Saturday at deadline. I think just to get his name back up there, I think he's also ready to come up to the roster.
I believe so.
Um, where does Trick fit in? I don't know. Where does I can see where Obi is, but I just don't see where D'Angelo fits in either. Are these good call-ups?
I think so. I think what's gonna happen in Trick, I mean Obi's case, he's gonna drop the NXT title to Javon Evans at New Year's Evil. That's gonna give him the rub.
Hmm.
Everybody knows that he's gonna eventually get up to the main roster, but it'll give him a chance with a title
Yeah.
and give him more time to build. Trick, you can throw him up there with Mello. You can make them a tag team because God knows they need them. And if you don't, you can throw him on Raw and make him a heel, because they need more heels. Um, I think, and D'Angelo, he's a
I almost
good.
feel like he's gonna get lost in obscurity if he doesn't have something good to go up with.
I think I think he could. Yeah, he's the one that is the
Wild card.
wild card. Thank you. He definitely is. It depends on what they're gonna do with him in this short amount of time. If they let him go up seriously, I think he could do something good. If he goes up in the Don role, I think he's gonna flounder. He will be another theory lost in the shuffle.
So they got to figure out what they're gonna do with these guys, man. I mean, it's great. It's one thing to bring them up, but as we've seen time and time again, not everyone gets that stick. You know what I mean?
Exactly. What's that old saying? Whatever you get, and what you do with it. If you get something, do the best you can with it.
Yeah. Okay, so
But
TNA is moving to AMC.
it's funny because I was just about to say something about TNA. That's going to be good. We'll probably see in the next, if it doesn't happen within the next 6 months, I will be shocked that WWE buys them.
I think it's inevitable. We're going to see that in the new year. But here's the other interesting thing: Netflix is close to closing the purchase of Paramount,
Yes, yes, yes.
which
And
puts
here's the kicker to that. They won't be able to do anything to AEW because their contract is theirs going to be on both shows until 2027.
I appreciate that, but Netflix has so much money. My fear is that they don't give them anything. I just let them sit there and flounder.
And I don't think they will flounder.
But you know what I mean?
No, 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 no. I get it. What
Maybe
I'm
it's not the right
saying,
word.
no, no. And what I'm saying is I don't think they can do whatever they want. There's going to be a content, and actually, if they go that route, I think it's going to be a misplay on their hands because they will make them stronger and more people will want them more. And once they get off and get another big deal, because right now, wrestling is in a weird, funny spot.
Yeah.
You can get good
Let me
television
sorry,
shows.
fair. Let me retract what I said. Netflix to buy Warner Brothers HBO Max, not Paramount. I apologize.
No, no. Yes, yes. But
It's
they
Warner
said
Brothers.
Warner Brothers, they're getting Warner Brothers, but I saw an article that's saying they are selling HBO Max, um, TNA. I mean, not TNA. The other brand separately. They're not going to keep them.
No, no, for sure.
But again, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be an overly big deal like we initially thought.
No, and it probably won't, and it probably going obscurity, but it just gives us something to talk about.
Right. Now, while we on TNA, I want to bring this point up real quick, and I'm not going to elaborate on it long, but how in the hell does this TNA and 10 NXT deal is fair when they just sent these mid card. I'm trying to watch my mouth because I don't want to insult the talent, but
Hold on, go ahead.
they're mid card that nobody cares about to TNA, and nobody cares. Nobody. It pisses me off.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't do that with TNA. They sent over big names, and then they're gonna send these. Uh, and again, a lot of the talent I like, I really do, but the name value to be in a war is bullshit. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it is.
No, no, no. I get that. Let's talk about this headline here. I thought it was really interesting coming from the source. So Bailey this past week was on the Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast. I don't know if you caught it or heard it or listened to it.
No,
I've seen segments of it. I will go back and listen to the whole thing. But Bailey revealed something which was I found really interesting about why she isn't happy with the current WWE roster. And it's an interesting thing because we talked about this being an issue in AEW. Now it's becoming an issue in WWE. No one sticks around to watch matches anymore. There's an issue of talent leaving the venue after their match and not sticking around watching the monitors. Bailey refers to herself, Charlotte, Becky, and all those other guys would all be there watching the matches on the monitor, standing with John Cena, standing with The Undertaker, learning from them, what's what. People are asking Seth Rollins to critique their match, but they're gone by the time he gets back. She said that, it's disheartening when the main event guys and girls come back after the match and no one's in Gorilla because everyone's leaving. Is this a problem where the younger talent think they know everything now?
Um,
Or is this just the way the world is now?
I think it's twofold. I think it's part of it is that um they don't etiquette etiquette of certain things that should be done is not being followed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the big, not the biggest, but one of the issues is when you have older talent, when they were young, they did certain things. Now they expect the younger talent to do it, and they don't, and they see it as a sign of respect, disrespect, which is not necessarily a sign of disrespect, it's just the change. Wrestling was different 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Wrestling was different 20 years before that, different. Just like you heard the Undertaker talk about, you saw guys with guns and knives. Now you see them playing video games and stuff. Well, it's just the change of generations. And I understand where their frustrations come from, but you got to be willing to change also and to be able to talk to the youth in a way they understand instead of coming off as preachy to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that in even out of wrestling, I use my kids as examples. The way my father talked to me when I was in my mid 20s,
Mm-hmm.
I dared not come back with a smart comment or sound disrespectful. My kids can say certain things to me, and where I know my dad would have probably knocked them out, I've learned how, okay, they're saying this because this. And it's like I let them know, cool, but let me explain this to you. I understand where you're going. I'm not mad, but let me explain why this is.
Sure.
And don't do that again because I look at that as a sign of disrespect. Now, after that, if my kids choose to do that same thing after I warned them, I'm probably going to break their jaw. But and I think that is we have to have more patience and learn how to again get across that we understand what they're trying to do, learn to talk to them in a better light and be understanding. They're not going to change also if you're not going to change. And I think that's the biggest head butting problem with communication. We don't want to change, or we think we're so in the right, we're going to stick to it. Sometimes you have to be willing to hush, listen, and go with it.
Yeah. Well,
I love Bailey. I love everything she's doing.
yeah.
I do personally, I would love to see Bailey go and do the Monet thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think she has so much more to give than they are giving her. I I hope that she does decide to leave and see what she can do out there
And
on her own.
and I think we're getting to that point here. Like you can only do so much at one place, right? You can only do so much, and she's done everything. And it's weird to think that Charlotte, Becky, and Bailey are veterans.
Yeah.
to think that I watch these guys. Like, it just shows you how fast time goes. But Bear, listen, man, we've basically covered a lot of it. There's so many more headlines that we probably could keep going on with here. But I'm sure most of the people listening have already arrived at work or at work, so we don't want to take away from them either and whatnot. But hey,
Yeah.
here we are. Let's not forget this year's Royal Rumble's in Saudi Arabia. Let's let that sink in for a second.
I try not to.
No, I'm just saying. I just hit me right now. Like, oh my God, we're starting the first PLE. It's in Saudi this year, so it's going to be an afternoon viewing party. It's not going to make ESPN happy.
Well, yeah, it will because they ESPN got so many different channels, they ain't gonna care.
Yeah, but it is what it is. All right, Professor, I tell you what, man. This being a slice, this has been so much fun. I feel energized. I feel awake now, and I'm ready to tackle the rest of this week. So we got Raw coming up this week. I know for a fact that on SmackDown we're gonna get the Terror Twins are back to fight Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. So that should be interesting to see there, kind of change of direction there. And I leave everyone with this one statement. When I see Rhea and Io, how far away from that baseline starting? I've never seen so many people hug and love each other as much as those two. I'm just waiting for them to kiss and that baseline to start, man. Am I right or wrong?
Well, hey, what the only thing that would shock me more if Charlotte and God, okay,
Alexa,
her and Miss Bliss, they're gonna break down and do it too. So it's just the race of who's gonna do it first.
I'm those two are just so close to it.
And then I wouldn't be surprised because Charlotte's track record, she's gonna propose to Bliss.
Probably, right? Why not? I mean, it didn't work with 4 men. Why not try with a girl now?
Hey, she got to keep up with Dad.
Right. There you go. I mean, title for title, marriage for marriage. Right? So she's right on the right track there.
Just to be clear, Charlotte, I love you.
No, 100%.
These are jokes.
100%.
These are jokes.
These are just jokes. Absolutely. But can you imagine if Mina was there?
Oh, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching.
Wait, what's another one? Who's another one who's in NXT right now? Mariah May?
Yes.
Right? Can you imagine if Mina came to the WWE with Mariah May there with the EO? Like, dude, I would never leave my room. Guys, I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Professor Bear. I gotta go to the washroom. Guys, have a great week. Now we'll know if people are listening.
Yes, true.
Okay. So, guys and gals, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us and everything else. Things are only going to get better here, Professor and Samp. So, a happy Thanksgiving to everyone who had one in the States, and we will catch you guys on the other side. Professor Bear, The Samp, Mama T, sing us out. Have a great one.
They're Professor and the Samp, yes, Professor and the Samp. One's a historian, the other loves to chant. They talk about the fights, all the slams and lights. It's wrestling mayhem day and night. They're Professor and the Samp, yes, Professor and the Samp. Their takes are quite insane, the wrestling world's their game. They break it down, they call it